And as we get set to go green here at Talladega Superspeedway, we get our Camping World track description and race analysis for 250 miles.
And what a great track this is, 2.66 miles in length. Those bank turns do it for you, though. 33 degrees, that means these trucks will be wide open in the corners, depending on that all-important draft to make moves on other trucks.
We saw speeds over 190 miles an hour yesterday. You see the races, 94 laps, a little bit over 250 miles. We estimate about 3 pit stops. Our pit window was somewhere between 32 and 36. And don't look for a whole bunch of 4-tire changes.
Not at all. This Goodyear tire that we're racing on is amazing. It's tough, it's durable. I don't even know if they'll change them at all.
And now our Mobil 1 starting lineup. And perhaps a surprise on the front row from qualifying yesterday. Tyler Reddick, first career pole for him. Taylor Malsom joins him on the front row.
First and second points. How about that?
Eric Jones. Last time we raced in Las Vegas, it was he that got the checkered flag, Michael.
Yeah, and I talked to Kyle Busch yesterday, and he said, I'm turning my keys to my truck over to a kid. Eric Jones is Michael Waltrip up in the Fox Sports booth. Can you hear me, friend?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Well, you're rolling out on this big super speedway for the first time. You went to the dirt track for the first time, got the pole. You were fast yesterday here. You won in our last race at Vegas. Is there anything you can't do, young man?
Well, I don't know about that, but we've had fast tundras. We've been able to go out and be competitive week in and week out, which is a great feeling as a driver and as a team. So hopefully we can go here, and I know we got another fast truck to go out and try to contend for one.
Kyle, your owner's got a couple of wins here at Talladega. What kind of advice has he given you as you strapped in for the first time?
Well, we talked a lot about the draft and kind of how the lines are going to move and where to be and where to position yourself. And so I've been asking him questions all week about this. It's a completely new experience for me, and just trying to figure it out. But he's been a big help in trying to get it all sorted out, and I'm looking forward to trying out the advice he's given me.
Well, have fun. You're going to be racing a truck at over 190 miles an hour. That's got to make for a pretty good Saturday afternoon. Good luck, friend.
Eric Jones went 191 miles per hour here yesterday in the second round of qualifying. Fastest lap ever by a driver in the Camping World Truck Series. And now let's get a final word from our pit reporters before we go green. We start things out with Ray Dunlap. Hello, Ray.
Hi, Adam. Well, you know, we heard from Eric Jones. He does have a very good truck, and as Michael said, that's the very same truck that went to victory lane in Daytona. So the piece of equipment could make a big difference today, right? Well, we've got a number of trucks in this field that have a lot of experience. Eric Jones, that truck has been to victory lane one time. Johnny Sauter's got a couple with old chassis number 25, but how about these two on the top? 140 and Freak. Now we're seeing a picture of Chris Fontaine. Fontaine is driving that truck that has gone to victory lane 3 times. And get this, that truck has run 22 times on the super speedways, and it's always fast. Hermie Sadler?
Well, Ray, Ron Hornaday is back in the field today. Back in 2011, he and his teammate finished 1-2 in a perfectly executed tandem draft or push draft exhibition that lapped the field just about, going to victory lane and second for Ron Hornaday. But today, that cannot be the case. NASCAR says you can bump another competitor, but you cannot connect and push that competitor for any extended period of time. Puts a lot of pressure on the drivers, puts even more pressure on NASCAR to make those calls. We'll see who can get away with it and if it has an effect on who wins the race here at Talladega. Bob?
Hermie, imagine if you were 18-year-old Tyler Reddick, the California kid, never been here to Talladega in this racetrack. In fact, the closest he's ever been is racing at the dirt track, the Talladega short track just across the street. I spoke to him just before he climbed in that truck, and I asked him, are you nervous? He said, no, not nervous. I'm excited, but I need to be patient here today. The game plan for this 19 team is to keep it at the bottom, hug to that yellow line, and Tyler Reddick hopes to keep that truck to the front of this field, guys.
Bob, I think he's lying. I think he is nervous as we get ready to go green today. Let's look at our onboard cameras.
Here's Timothy Peters. He's won at Daytona. He was second at Daytona this year. He started all the way back in 26 in his Red Horse Toyota. A lot of work to do.
This is the Toyota Care Toyota for Kyle Busch Motorsports and Eric Jones. We just talked to Eric. First start here at Talladega, he rolls off 6th.
We're going to ride along in the Ford on board with Ryan Blaney, 3rd in points. This could be an opportunity to gain some ground on those front 2, and will start his Cooper Standard Ford from the 5th spot.
Starting 3rd, it's our point leader, 2 wins this season. Life is good right now for Matt Craft, and there's a lot of tension, though, in that truck. I know. What will his strategy be? He's going to roll off 3rd in that Menards Fisher Nuts truck.
So we'll work in one more break as we continue prior to the green flag today. It's next on Fox. Glad you're here. Less than a half a lap away from going green here at Talladega Superspeedway. 18-year-old Tyler Reddick on the pole, and some interesting conversation on his radio a moment ago.
Keep working the bottom here, man. Just like always there. Well, if they get around you on the outside, they get around you, man. But it's not going to happen much. You know, 1 or 2 might get you, but that'll keep us in pretty good track position there. And those guys on the outside are going to have to work extra hard, twice as hard as you will run that line. So be nice and smooth, man. Keep your left on that yellow line, and that's all we'll do.
That's his instructions. That yellow line is his best friend in Alabama. He puts those left side tires right against that yellow line. That means no one can put him 3 wide. He's in a great position, but Phil, he needs to get a good start here. If you're going to lead this race and have that inside lane protected, you can't get jumped on the start. This is a tense time for that young man.
Taylor Molson on the front row with him. Best career start for Taylor. Great effort in qualifying yesterday. Row 2, our championship leaders. Matt Crafton, the defending champion, trying to become the first ever to go back-to-back in the Truck Series alongside Johnny Sauter, who won this race 1 year ago. And in row 3, Ryan Blaney, another one of those with his eye on the title, starting alongside the young sensation Eric Jones, who is coming off his 3rd career victory. Fans on their feet. Green flag is in the air in the Camping World Truck Series, racing for the 9th time at Talladega.
Michael, he got that good start you were talking about.
Yes, he did. Probably a little anxious. Might have hit the gas earlier than expected by Taylor Molson, and he was able to pull out on Taylor. Got a great push right now from Matt Crafton. You know the beauty part of where Reddick sits right now, Phil? He knows Crafton is just there to push. If he rides on that yellow line, Crafton's not going to do anything crazy. He's an experienced veteran. There won't be a huge bump draft coming from behind. It's just a chance for those two to ride and try to log some laps. But you can see that snarling pack behind them. Their last thing that some of those guys have in mind is riding and logging laps. They want to go.
Well, one of those 4-time champion Ron Hornaday, who made it 3 wide in that outside lane. 51 career victories. He's never got one at Daytona or Talladega. Outside lane prevails that time. Taylor Molson led the opening lap.
He's got a good push from that 98 of Johnny Sauter. Opens up about a truck length lead right now over Tyler Reddick.
Be interesting to see how long Molson decides to stay there in that outside lane. Well, that answers that question.
Not long.
He got the push from Sauter to get the lead, and then he dove to the bottom and got himself down in front of Reddick.
Clear high, just inside,
On board with
just
Timothy Peters. They finished 2nd earlier this season at Daytona. Started 26 today, but already working to the front.
He started 26 and looks out his windshield and says, there's the lead. I can almost taste it. He's got Bubba Wallace right in front of him. Both those guys disappointed in their qualifying yesterday, and they're racing hard to get to the front.
The closure rate is so high and so great with these trucks. These guys out here in the draft, they're actually letting off the gas. They're hitting the brake to keep from running each other because the draft just tries to suck them up to the truck in front of them.
The difference 1st to 2nd that time by Taylor Molson, 16 1/1000ths of a second in front of Johnny Sauter.
Pretty good in front of you here. Be on your toes. They're tight in that middle. We can roll picket.
See people trying to make that 3rd lane work.
See a little water coming out the overflow there on Eric Jones's truck. Little excessive temperature here early in the going for Jones. He's got a good run on Sauter. He's pushing Sauter pretty tight, Bob.
He is, Michael, indeed, and that's the game plan. His spotter, Tony Hirschman, directing the movements for young Eric Jones right now. He plans to stay right behind Johnny Sauter because, as his spotter told him, Johnny's really good at stalling that inside line. But the problem that Eric is having is what he told me before the race. He said, my truck bounces all over the place. And that's the most difficult lesson that he has learned, that truck in the draft, bouncing all over the place, Michael.
That's not good. And look at that run. Bubba Wallace is getting on the high side. Oh, real quick move there back in the pack.
Bubba Wallace came in 4th in points, started 27th, the worst start of his career, but he is making that outside lane work, and he's getting help from Timothy Peters, who's pushing from behind, who also had a poor qualifying effort yesterday. And in that mix as well, John West Townley qualified in the top 10, but had to start at the rear in today's race.
He had to go to the back for unapproved adjustments. Made a nice move up towards the front here.
Where else but Talladega can you go from starting 26th and 27th and challenge for the top 5 on lap 5? That's amazing.
And we said yesterday, qualifying didn't really matter where you start. And I think, Phil, you even predicted those guys would be in the top 5. 10 laps in, it may not take that long.
Yeah, great move by Bubba Wallace and Timothy Peters.
I like where they are right now. We've seen a lot of good momentum from that outside line. In fact, the reason why Peters and Wallace were able to get to where they are, ooh, there it goes. Here's our first strategy play right there. Is that Johnny Sauter dropping to the back?
I think it is. I think he didn't like what he saw up there at the front. You can see obviously his truck's up to pace now. He wants to get towards the front of the second pack, it looks like, but he's passing a bunch of trucks. Now he's going to move back up on the out. Maybe just testing to see what his truck will do.
He saw Ron Hornaday back there hanging out. About from Sauter on back, all those guys are playing defense right now. They're just sitting back, watching that front pack, making sure if there's a mistake made out of that pack, they have a room to miss the mistake.
What's going on with that 17, Ray?
Well, Adam, I showed you at the top of the show there that graphic where we saw old chassis 140 had been very good for Red Horse Racing. Timothy Peters used it to win at Daytona, but they've got a newer piece of equipment. This is chassis 12 that he's driving, and they said in the big tight pack, this truck just handles better. Timothy said 140 was always fast when they went on that last couple laps, but he said this one drives like it's in a Cadillac. Hermie?
Well, Ray, Ryan Blaney does not have a lot of experience at these type of racetracks, but he does have a lot of experience on top of the spotter stand. Joey Meyer, an experienced spotter in all 3 of NASCAR's top divisions, has guided Ryan Blaney right now to the front of this pack. He spent the first few laps on the yellow line, but when the outside pack started to move, Joey Meyer said, move up, catch that pack, and let's put this thing out front. And that's exactly what Ryan Blaney has done, Bob.
And guys, you were talking about why the 98 of Johnny Sauter was moving to the back. That was not a planned maneuver. In fact, his team just told me that their plan was to stay up front all day long. The problem is when they jumped up a line, the 51 was supposed to go with him, Eric Jones, and he did not. So right now, the 98 has lost a bunch of spots, but they're going to try to work their way back up there.
And perhaps most surprising about that development at ThorSport, seeing Johnny Sauter go back, even though it was unintentional, we thought Matt Crafton, our championship leader, may employ that strategy today.
Yeah, and it's early, guys. I mean, there's so many different plans that'll come into play over the next 90 laps, 80-some laps. These guys will go to the front, they'll go to the back. They're going to be all over the place. What I think is most interesting early is how well this outside line has moved up, Bill. A lot of times we watch the leaders get on that yellow line on the very inside and just dictate the pace of the race, and they lead. But today, that's certainly not going to be the case. We saw Blaney get a push from Wallace. They went to the front. Blaney went to the bottom, went back to the top to pick up his drafting partner there, Bubba Wallace, and they stayed there, and they're able to keep pace with the leaders on the inside.
And guys, let's remember, we see these trucks running right behind each other, nose to tail. You can bump draft. You cannot lock up, though, in tandem draft like we saw in the past. That is not allowed. If NASCAR deems that you've done that, they will black flag both trucks for a pass-through penalty, the guy being pushed and the guy pushing.
I continue to watch that outside lane, which right now is being led by Joe Nemechek in that yellow and purple machine. He's doing a nice job out there. 2 nationwide wins for him in his career here at Talladega, and not looking too bad today in the truck.
Look at all that movement, though. That's what's so crazy about this draft at 190 miles an hour. If you get right down on the side of another truck and he happens to bobble around, that's when the big one happens.
Is it just turbulence in the air?
Dirty air, just dirty air.
Yeah, I was out yesterday in the Cup car, and when a car just passes you, it pulls your rear end around. It makes your car unstable for just a brief second, but that second is all it takes to get into another truck and cause a big accident.
Taylor Malsom leading this race. He's led 7 laps so far, Bob.
Guys, spotters so important here at Talladega to direct traffic and help you honestly drive that truck. Taylor Malsom out front for right now. His spotter, a pretty good one. Eddie DeHunt from Long Island, a former modified racer, now spotter for Jeff Gordon on the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Well, he is trying to tell Taylor Malsom how to modulate the throttle and the brake pedal to keep the proper distance so that the outside groove does not get the run on them like they are doing right now. But Eddie DeHunt guiding the 32's move everywhere on this racetrack.
So twice already today, 9 laps into the race, we've gotten reports on the spotters and the key roles they play. They can be the difference between success and failure when it comes to a place like Talladega.
Well, these spotters have seen way more races than a lot of the guys driving the trucks have.
That's a good point, because most of them are 18 or 19 years old. Taylor Malsom out front. We're 9 laps in at Talladega. Under caution for the first time today for the Camping World Truck Series at Talladega. At least 4 or 5 trucks involved. They were battling for a position on the backside of the top 10.
Yeah, and what happens so frequently at these kind of places is we get accidents in the straightaways. You would think it would be easy to drive these trucks down the straightaway. Not the case. There's Ron Hornaday, 2-time winner here. There's Herman Quiroga, top 10 in points. He's going to take a big hit. Mason Mingus, who had a good qualifying effort in that 15 truck.
There was some side drafting, some bump drafting, and like you said, Phil, it all occurs on the straightaway. Ooh, it looked like Quiroga tried to get into a hole that Eric Jones wasn't sure was there.
Hard hit for Mason Mingus in that 15 truck.
Crazy thing is, you know, we're talking lap 10 and 11. You just have to make sure that you understand where gaps are and that they're going to be there this early in the race.
Ryan Sieg swerved to the outside trying to get by. Nowhere to go when Mingus came up in front of him.
Yeah, and hard contact with a third. Let's take another look at it here. See the blue truck left side of your screen. You see him get sideways, get in the 15 of Mason Mingus, then go to the outside. Nowhere to go for Ron Hornaday or Ryan Sieg.
And that's about as far away from the spotters as you can get. So they're not a ton of help over there.
Pit road is open. Here they come, Hermie.
Ryan Blaney comes to pit road as the leader. His crew chief, Chad Kendrick, says do not slide the tires. Going to be fuel only. No adjustments for Ryan Blaney.
Taylor Malsom also good with his number 32 truck. He pulls in. It'll be fuel only for Taylor Malsom as well. Right on lap.
Cleaned off the screen on Bubba Wallace's number 54, putting Sunoco fuel in it. No tires, no adjustments.
So the theme on the opening round of pit stops, fuel only for most of the drivers that come down. Ryan Blaney the quickest off, and his teammate who started on the pole, Tyler Reddick, picking up 3 positions. He was second off the pit lane.
And you can see a truck leaving late there. Matt Crafton, he was up front. Now he's going to be in the back. Be interesting to see what our point leader decides to do.
Right where he wants to be. You're watching the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Fox, presented by Mobile One. 14 of 94 laps complete for the Camping World Truck Series at Talladega. Under caution for the first time today. 5 trucks got damage in the crash. Another on pit road. It's our championship leader, Matt Crafton.
Yeah, we thought he may have elected to go to the back on his own, but obviously some contact. Take a look right here. That's Matt Crafton, that yellow truck. Watch when he leaves his pits here. Brian Silas, that blue truck is coming in his pits, and they make contact.
That's a lot on the crew chief, sending the driver out of the box. Depends on how the communication is set up between Crafton, the spotter, and the crew chief, but you have to be aware of your surroundings. Matt really didn't have anything to do with that. All he did was go when he was told to go, and you can't see who's coming, but he needed more information he didn't get, obviously.
Let's get more from Bob.
Crew Chief Carl Joyner methodically calling out direction for his team as the team worked on the right front fender and the nose piece. Their biggest concern, certainly the splitter, but they put a lot of bear bond, that tape on the front nose of that machine. They pulled the fender out from the tire where it was buckled in just a little bit. They might come back down pit road. They're discussing it right now, but a lot of work to the front end of that 88, right?
Our pole sitter today was Tyler Reddick. He got a speeding penalty on our first round of pit stops. So Doug Randolph said, I'll tell you what, let's try something a little different here. They're going to bring that draw-type Ford in, and they're going to hang 4 Goodyear tires on it. Also, make sure that it's good and topped off with fuel. So whenever you got to start in the back, try to do something a little bit different. This may be able to change their pit strategy for the rest of the day.
Ray, he was second off pit road in that opening round of pit stops. And now I guess we know why. A little too fast coming down the pit lane. Several strategies playing out. We'll get the restart when we return. A great day here at Talladega. Caution here at Talladega. 16 of our 94 laps complete. And now we get our Ford Superspeedway facts.
We talk about the fact that it doesn't matter really where you qualify here. 5 of the last 8 Superspeedway races here in Daytona were won from outside the top 10.
How about those last lap passes and the largest margin of victory under a half second? This is an amazing racetrack, and these trucks put on a great show. I just wish we could have made it past lap 12 when we all piled up. Let's just keep racing. Let's go.
I think there should have been an asterisk there that said Waltrip and Parsons have won here too, but that didn't make the cut. Let's go to Hermie Sadler.
Darn.
Well, Mason Mingus, a promising start to the weekend with practice and qualifying. Disappointing finish. What happened on the racetrack?
Yeah, you know, I don't know. I haven't seen the replay yet, but it's frustrating. These guys at Billy Boat Motorsports have done a great job getting this truck ready, and everybody with Call 811 and ECR engines and Chevy. And, you know, it seems like this weekend the Chevy trucks have dominated, and we were hoping to do that in the race. We were just biding our time, playing it safe. We knew we had a safe truck. I was just going to hold that yellow line the whole time and wait till we had an opening at the end of the race. But, you know, we'll see what happens. But yeah, so it looks like somebody may have got into the 77 and turned them into us. But, you know, it's one of those things. That's what we get for pack racing. You know, it happens every time. You just hope you're not the victim of it. Unfortunately, it was early in the race. You know, I felt like we could have had a good run if we could have made it through the big one. I don't know if that's going to be it or there's going to be another one, but, you know, it's unfortunate when people get that impatient this early in the race. It just tears up a lot of trucks and ends a lot of people's day.
Mason Mingus, he's out at lap 12.
And Mason Mingus a year ago lost an engine here, finished in the 36th position.
A lot of trucks on and off pit road with some damage. We saw Crafton earlier. There's Eric Jones.
Ryan Sieg also involved in that accident a moment ago. He's been released from the care center, as has Armand Quiroga, who was involved in our first caution of the day. Fox Sports is proud to collaborate with Stand Up to Cancer, a groundbreaking initiative that accelerates cancer research and gets new therapies to patients quickly. We stand with our good friend and colleague, Steve Burns, who is fighting his own cancer battle. Steve, we're thinking about you, and we can't wait to see you back at the racetrack soon. For more information, go to foxsportssupports.com. So the race leader here, under caution, is Ryan Blaney. Darrell Wallace Jr. started in the 27th position, is up to 3rd. John West Townley, Timothy Peters, Taylor Mawson round out the top 5. Let's get some updates from pit road. Ray?
Joe Nemechek started in 8th today, but he will restart right now back in about 30th. You'll notice on the front of the grill there's some bare bond there. He made contact with Johnny Sauter when that last crash happened, so they decided to come down, work on the truck. They also put 4 tires on and Sunoco fuel. Bob?
Matt Crafton in the 88 has been on pit road on 3 different occasions. They did change all 4 tires and fill it with fuel, but their major concern was that splitter on the right front. And it's actually notched just a little bit right in the center, but they were actually making sure that right front splitter there, where it hits the pavement basically, was pushed up enough and wouldn't be dragging on the ground. So a big concern for Matt Crafton. We'll keep an eye on it.
And he's going to restart here in the 28th position, Bob. Front row, Ryan Blaney, Darrell Wallace Jr., best of friends, back underway at Talladega.
Blaney dives to the bottom, picks up that push from Bubba Wallace. Timothy Peters does the same thing.
So Blaney chose the outside lane. I guess that was intentional, and they had a plan for him to drop down in front of it and make it all happen.
Yeah, I'll take the outside, which means you won't be stuck out there if you'll let me in. That's just early in the race, working it out. Drafting at its finest, people trying to figure out what's the best way to stay near the front. That was those two's plan.
Worked out pretty well too. Timothy Peters slots in 3rd. John West Townley with a great run early in that Zaxby's Toyota, running 4th.
He started last. He came from last to the front as Timothy Peters back from that 27th spot. So we've got some real movers early in the going, just like we expected we'd have. Now it's going to be interesting to watch that bright yellow truck you see at the top of our screen. That's Matt Crafton. We saw him up front early. We know he's got a huge point lead, or at least a significant point lead. How does he try to protect that lead early in the going after losing all that track position?
And Michael, you said you were disappointed that we had a crash this early, under caution, 12 laps into the event. Given that, do these guys settle down a little bit, ride here for a while, do you think?
I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. Look at that crashing
Brennan
already.
Newberry trying to get into line.
There was not a hole there. That answered your question, Adam. That was a good visual of settling down.
Let's go to Hermie.
Well, another exit from the care center. Armand Quiroga, first of all, are you okay? And tell us what happened from your perspective on the racetrack.
Yeah, I'm okay. It's a shame, to be honest. We were pretty good. 77, the Tom Warley's truck was strong, and we were just handling there. And the 51 was overheating, and they told me he was going to go high to take some clean air. and behind me they were running 3 wide, so it makes sense for him to move up and then move a little bit back. And I tried to fill the gap, and then he came down on me, so that spun us, and it's a shame. I mean, we worked hard, and we had a very, very good truck, and I mean, just really frustrated for me with having so many issues in the past few days, and I just can't believe that this happened today.
That's Iman Quiroga. He's out at Talladega.
Tough break for Armand, exiting early as he did a year ago. Involved in a crash last season over in turns 3 and 4, and we'll wait and see if they can get that truck repaired and get it back on track.
It looks like the theory on most of these guys right now is just to ride along here, get against that yellow line. This is Eric Jones. Eric right now is back in that pack a little bit. He's running the 13th spot, Bob.
And Eric Jones came down pit road in that long caution period, topped off with fuel, got 4 tires. They kind of called an audible because they didn't expect to come down pit road that early. But they did warn Eric. Remember, he's been bouncing all over the place in traffic with that number 51 truck. They said if you feel uncomfortable, bail out. That's the best thing to do. What do you think, guys?
You know, Adam asked the question, are they going to settle down and ride now? That it has that look to it, but Phil, it won't take long before someone in that line will decide, let's make a run on the outside. Let's see if we can make some moves. They're not only just trying to make moves now, but they're also making sure they know what the truck can do later in the event. You've got to make a plan. You've got to make sure you understand that you're able to pull up and make those passes.
See Matt Crafton now. There's a definite separation between the lead pack and the second pack of Matt Crafton's leading right now. You see a little bit of Barabon that's come loose on that truck. He has his teammate, one of his teammates, Jeb Burton, behind him, though, and also a number truck. So they will easily be able to maintain pace around this racetrack. So till they can get back into pits, maybe work on it some more.
I can barely see into the sun.
Matt's talking about having some issues with the sun down the front straightaway.
And Phil, Matt can probably run the fastest lap of the race right now.
Right front.
He's got a
this
big...
lap is so hard, you can feel it moving the thing big time in here.
Talking about that Barabon.
Yeah, it's amazing how much that will affect the vehicle. You see the Barabon on the very nose of that Menards Toyota shaking. You go to a wind tunnel and you have a little piece of tape or something come loose, and it really affects the numbers.
When you're into that stay dry, you have a ton of stay dry, like on your right front wheel and everything. So that's probably what happened with your windshield. I'm thinking, I was just looking at it through binoculars just to see. Real dirty up there when you're into that stay dry.
Matt Crafton right now in the 16th position.
That Barabon coming off makes you wonder if there's a hood issue under the Barabon that could cause that hood to fly up. I talked earlier about who would run the fastest laps in the race right now. It'd be Matt Crafton back there outside the top 15, but yet having that big push and the big run of the gap ahead. That's exactly what we saw in qualifying, and that's just a great situation for speed, but you also want to leave that gap a little bit so you're in a good defensive mode in case something goes wrong.
Not the start to the race the 88 team was hoping for, Bob.
And he was worried about that. That's why he doesn't like to talk about the championship, Matt Crafton, until after Talladega, because as he told me before the race, anything can happen here. But the plans, because of all this, have changed for Matt Crafton. He now plans, according to his crew chief, Carl Joyner, to stay near the rear of the field. He's not going to charge to the front. He's going to play it safe right now. And, of course, you heard him talking about that Barabon and all sorts of noises that he's hearing right now. But the plan is to stick with the 13, his teammate, Jeb Burton.
And his other teammate dropping back. Johnny Sauter is off the pace. He has dropped below the double yellow line, and there is an issue there with the man who came in second in the championship. Won this race last season. In fact, swept the 2 super speedway races. Also got the checkered flag at Daytona, but this is huge when it comes to the points.
This may be something catastrophic for Johnny Sauter, because you would think he would be able to maintain some sort of speed if he had a minor issue. This looks really, really serious for this 98 team.
Came into this race 17 points outside the point championship.
What's going on, Bob?
Completely out of power is one of your title contenders, Johnny Sauter, right now. They're going to bring that truck down pit road. They're going to dive in the right side window, take a look at all the connections in terms of all the electronics inside that truck right now, but no power whatsoever for Johnny Sauter in that truck.
You know who's sitting pretty right now? Ryan Blaney led the most laps today. Came in 27 out. As they run on track, he's 8 points behind Matt Crafton, and Johnny Sauter is now falling more than 30 off the pace as you ride on board with Blaney here out front.
You're towing 18 trucks in line behind you, all in the bottom lane, single file.
That's a great shot, isn't it, from our Ford EcoBoost camera, looking back at the field?
And it's a great feeling for Ryan Blaney leading the race down on that yellow line. No outside group of trucks trying to take that lead away from him. He's just logging laps now, and he loves where he's logging them at.
The hood is up on the 98 now, Bob. What's the latest?
Johnny Sauter just thought when he came on the radio when the truck came to pit road and said, I think she's blown up, guys, because she won't even crank over. So they're now underneath the hood, and they think it might be a terminal diagnosis for this number 98 team.
I don't know that you ever plan for a great run at a place like Talladega because it's so unpredictable. But Johnny Sauter has been so good when it comes to super speedway racing. You know they came into this weekend feeling like they had a chance to get it done, and unfortunately, going to the garage early. Ryan Blaney is our race leader, 26 of 94 complete. It's the Camping World Truck Series, presented by Mobile One on Fox. When you're involved in a championship battle and you come to Talladega, there can be some anxiety involved. Blaney, Crafton, Sauter, and Wallace in that position coming to today's race. 33 points separating the top four coming in. That's where it sits now, but we've had some changes.
Yeah, big switch for Johnny Sauter. Just catastrophic. Appears engine failure for the 98 team. That drops him now as they run to 33 points back. And again, obviously, Matt, Crafton has to survive this day as well.
Yeah, and 33 points back, and that's with Crafton running back in 16th, Phil. You got to feel like that if he does survive, it's going to be a top 5 run for Crafton. He always winds up near the front, so the damage could be even worse.
And in the catbird seat right now, the 29 of Ryan Blaney out front. He's led 18 of our 31 laps, the most today. And if things hold up, he would leave here 7 points behind Crafton, a huge gain when you consider he came in 27 out.
You got to remember, guys, these trucks can run, as we mentioned earlier, between 32 and 36 laps on a tank of fuel. So they pitted somewhere around lap 13, 15. Some of them came back in and topped it off. Right now, with Ryan Blaney running out front, which he's done this entire time, I was talking to his guys in the garage area yesterday, and they said the difference between running out front and running back in the pack is about a mile a gallon. Wow. So they will have to pit a lot earlier than probably the rest of the people.
About a half a lane, 3/4 of a lane.
I heard some talk on the radio during break about pitting around lap 40 for some of our top teams. So you're right, Bill.
Left right there, Jason.
Big variance in fuel mileage. And it's because Blaney's running wide open and everybody else is half, 3/4 throttle at times, just keeping pace. No one's jumping out of line. When you jump out of line, you've definitely got your foot on the floorboard, but when you're out along in line, there's a lot of half throttle, 3/4 throttle.
It's the 8 of Joe Nemechek, who also got some damage in that earlier accident. Got patched up, hanging in tight. Right now scored in the 10th position.
Nemechek knows a little bit about winning here. A couple of nationwide races. Really good super speedway racer, biding his time, riding along in the pack. This is a good time for these truck racers. Right now, there's not a lot of tension, but that pit stop's coming up, and we know how difficult it is getting to pit road at times. There can be some contact as you slow down to come to the pit, so need a lot of communication there from the spotters.
Let's hear from Johnny Sauter down to Bob.
Unfortunate circumstance for Johnny Sauter down here. His team's still working on his truck, but you had a bolt in your hand just a minute ago. Is that the culprit?
Yeah, obviously went through the radiator, so just another kick in the ass, I guess. So just proud of everybody at ThorSport on this next Aerospace Curb Records Toyota. Triad's done a great job all year with our horsepower, and it didn't feel like it blew up. I mean, it's weird. I didn't, the water temperature didn't show anything. It was just kind of stayed, and they said it probably just pushed it out so fast that didn't have an opportunity to reflect anything. So whatever, championship's over, and from here on out we can just race like hell.
The last time ThorSport had an engine failure, Kentucky, July 2011.
That was a bolt through the radiator, lost all the water, so that was just some debris on the track, it sounds like, came up and knocked Johnny Sauter out of the championship battle, he believes.
And we had so many trucks involved in that incident. Obviously, the track officials do such a great job cleaning the racetrack up, but tough break for Johnny Sauter.
I want to give some love to a few drivers running up in that lead pack. We talked earlier about John West Townley, had to start at the rear. He's 4th. The yellow truck seen right there coming through your screen, the 05. He's done a nice job today. Ben Kennedy, who led 52 laps at Daytona in that lead pack. He's 6th right now. Spencer Gallagher, a couple of weeks ago, got his first career ARCA win. So impressive in Las Vegas. The last time the trucks were in action a few weeks ago in the top 10, as is his GMS Racing teammate, Joey Coulter.
Joey Coulter has been so consistent with that team. Essentially a new team this year, GMS Motorsports, and they have been on it. Just about every single time they tee it up, they finish up in the top 15 for sure.
And what about Ben Kennedy? We saw him passing out tickets earlier in the week, and now he's running inside the top 10. A good strong run for Ben up there in that lead pack. So there's a lot of great stories, like you said, Adam, inside of that top 10.
And Brennan Newberry there as well, who right now is in the 9th position. Let's get more on Ben Kennedy with Ray.
Kennedy running just a little bit loose on entry into the corner, but you'll notice that he is tag teamed there with his teammate Taylor Malsom. They've been on the radio saying we really should try to break out and see if that second line will go. And then his spotter Jimmy Kitchens came on and said we're getting ready to get a group together to come to pit road very shortly. So why don't we see how the pits go? They're going to be down here about lap 43. Hermie?
And Ray, those trucks will pit with the leader, Ryan Blaney. His crew chief, Chad Kendrick, just told him the 54 and the 17 right behind him will not come to pit road on lap 44, but the 05 and the 32 will follow the 29 to pit road, as will the 19 of Tyler Reddick, who's further back in the running order. So we're about 7 laps away to seeing some very important green flag pit stops.
And Michael, you talked about it. We will not make a green flag pit stop without having some issue. Somebody will be speeding on pit road. Someone will have a tire getaway. They'll cross the line. It's amazing what happens here because these guys don't make that many green flag pit stops.
And you saw there as they exited turn 4, right on the yellow line. That's the racing groove. Well, that's how you pit. So you better make an abrupt move down under that yellow line when you come to pit road, or someone will get into the back of you and cause an accident. So this, you're right, Phil. This is everything but routine a lot of times for these trucks.
Closing on halfway. Closing on a cycle of green flag pit stops. 37 of 94 laps complete here at Talladega. Our top 5, Ryan Blaney, Darrell Wallace Jr., Timothy Peters, John West Townley, and Taylor Malsom. It's been the Ryan Blaney Show. He's led 24 of our 37 laps. You're watching the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Fox, presented by Mobil 1. 7 laps away from halfway. Green flag pit stops a few laps earlier than that, and you can see the conversations going on now down on the pit lane. You gotta communicate so you have a partner to pit with.
Yeah, you gotta have some friends to come to pit road because you don't want to go back up on the racetrack by yourself, because these trucks will run probably 3 seconds a lap slower by themselves than they will in this pack.
And you got to choreograph this pit stop. You got to make sure you know who's doing what around you so you can get on the pit road safely and not have that mistake that can cause you all that track position.
Under caution, we saw contact that impeded the progress of one of our championship contenders, Matt Crafton. When you come in under green, Michael, how would you rate Talladega as far as difficulty, getting from 190 miles per hour in the draft down to pit road speed and executing the plan?
You know, if I was at the back of this lead pack, if I was back there where Brennan Newberry is, I'd be totally comfortable with the pit stop coming up. Nobody's going to run over me. I've got a gap behind me, but you just have to make sure that everybody around you knows what's getting ready to take place. These trucks can run wide open, Phil, all the way off turn 4. They can be on the flat, Adam, heading straight before they have to brake. The trucks have a lot of power, but they also have a lot of drag, so that allows them to get on the brakes hard and get those trucks stopped in a hurry. So the timing of when you hit those brakes and making sure the trucks behind you knows what's happening is very important.
And Michael, I'm not sure that Brennan Newberry would be safe necessarily because he has Joe Nemechek. There's a little bit of a gap, but it's only about a second. We've seen a lot of times when people come to pit road, somebody runs in the back from way back behind them.
Yeah, I talk about a big gap. It looked like about 2 truck wings right then. But that's a lot at this place because look at everybody in front of them, nose to tail. But things changed in such a hurry here. They can close up or drop back in a hurry.
Just past the start-finish line, completing lap 43. And that would put us right around the lap count of our pit reporter saying these guys will be on the pit lane. And just as we say that, left of your screen, you see the leaders getting ready to bring their man down. There's the crew for John West Townley.
Probably the whole 10, 12, 14 of them. Just be aware.
Matt Crafton's crew right now planning some strategy.
And he may have more to do than just tires and fuel. Maybe have to continue to work on the damage they received earlier on pit road.
We don't have time under green, Adam. We don't have time to work on that. We're going to have to wait for a caution flag to do any work. Here they come.
Joe Nemechek and others, including Matt Crafton and his teammate Jeb Burton, stay on track. But here comes the race leader, Hermie.
And Ryan Blaney reminded not to spin his tires coming to pit road, or not slide his tires into his pit box. They're going to take 2 right side tires, fill it up with fuel, and try to get him back out up front. Bob?
Same exact plan for John West Townley. His crew chief Mike Bean barking the orders right now. 2 tires on this truck. John West Townley says this truck is stable, Ray.
Bubba Wallace wanted to be a little bit tighter on entry. They'll make an air pressure adjustment on the right sides. They'll put 4 Goodyears on that truck, also Sunoco fuel. They'll get a tear off of his windshield or try. Bubba Wallace is going to lose a couple of spots. He came in second. Looks like he'll go out about 4th or 5th.
Ryan Blaney so quick off pit road, he didn't have anybody with him, and Ryan Blaney too fast entering pit lane. He will be penalized.
That was weird because
Bubba Wallace passed Ryan Blaney.
But I think Blaney was trying to make up for being too fast in the first segment, slow down. Bubba goes around him. It was a mess. I knew one of them was wrong. Check this out. Evidently in that segment, Blaney was too fast. He slowed there, but it was too late. Wallace goes around. And so when he came onto pit road, that initial section, just like you talked about, Phil, mistakes.
He gave it way back, but it was too late. We were already through section 1, and that's how Darrell got by us.
That's spotter Joey Meyer talking from the spotter stand. That's what he saw. So the second time today, a Brad Keselowski truck has been penalized for speeding on pit road. It happened earlier under caution for Tyler Reddick, who started on the pole, and now for Ryan Blaney, who had led 30 of our first 44 laps.
And remember, he was the leader. He was the first guy to hit pit road, and just a little bit too fast in that first section. Everybody behind him just knew they had to be a little bit slower than he was.
And think about Blaney.
All you got to do is a pass through, man.
Life was good, leading the race, leading the most laps. He had gained on point leader Matt Crafton, and now a mistake on pit road. He's going to have to battle all the way back through the field to try to be a part of this race, a part of winning this race at the end.
There are 9 trucks that are yet to pit under green in this cycle. From 10th on back, have already come down and gotten their service under green. And among those drivers that has done so is the 29 of Ryan Blaney, who now will come down, pass through penalty for speeding. And this is where you really have to play the game correctly, because if you get upset and frustrated and you speed again, it's a stop and go the next time around, and then you're done.
Yeah, that's for sure. Ryan Blaney was a pretty cool head, so I don't think that's going to happen for him. But this is far worse penalty under green than it is under caution. Under caution, you just have to go back to the tail end of the longest line. Now this pass-through, while these guys are lapping this racetrack at almost 190 miles an hour, is going to put him way behind.
And Blaney's just going to have to try to find any truck he can to draft off of. You talked about a perhaps 3 seconds in time differential between what you can run by yourself and in a pack. Blaney's going to have to find somebody to run with.
And did you see Joe Nemechek? We're now halfway in this race, signaling inside his truck with a hand wave. I'm going to be going to pit road this time. He is now the race leader, has not yet made his stop in this cycle under green.
He's going to lead this entire group, I think, down pit road here. No, looks like
they bypass.
They're going to stay on the racetrack. One more lap.
That tells you the differential in leading the pack and burning your gas and riding back in the pack. These trucks are still going along because they were in the draft running half, 3/4 throttle. Give them a chance to stretch it out here. And Nemechek takes advantage of it by leading the race. I think this time, I'm hearing on the radio, these trucks will come to pit road.
Yeah, they've already run 4 more laps than the group that Ryan Blaney led the pit road round.
Ryan Blaney right now being scored 20th, 1 lap down. Keeping in mind this group needs to pit. We'll see how it all cycles out. But I gotta believe if Ryan Blaney's going to have a chance to be a player again, we're going to have to get a caution here at some point.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be a lap down, and it'll be interesting to watch him try to claw back, get that lucky dog position, and get back on the lead lap.
Lap 49. That's when Joe Nemechek, Eric Jones, and championship leader Matt Crafton elect to come down and get their service under green. Hermie?
Jeb Burton making his way down pit road. Same agenda we saw with Ryan Blaney. 2 right side tires, fuel and no adjustments to try to maintain track position. Bob?
3 wins in 14 races for Eric Jones. This is a planned pit stop. They changed 4 tires last time, so it's 2 tires and fuel for Eric Jones this time, right?
Bully Hill Vineyards is on the hood for Joe Nemechek in this yellow and purple truck. He said it just can't find anybody to draft with him. They went with 2 tires also. He'll cut right back in behind Matt Crafton.
So Eric Jones, the quickest of that group to come down the pit lane and exit. And as they exit, there go the race leaders by him. Taylor Malsom towing that group around. We'll circle back to the top of the board.
They were running about a 3/4 of a second faster than that pack led by Nemechek while Nemechek was leading the race. So that's why you see the fact that they're passing Nemechek as they lead pit road.
And our second pit road speeding penalty of the day for Tyler Reddick. Too fast entering. He was nabbed earlier when he made his pit stop under caution.
Yeah, and this one's going to really hurt. Also, Brian Siles too fast entering. Everybody that's been penalized has been in segment 1. Scott Stencil as well in the 63 truck.
How hard is it to go from 180 some miles an hour down to pit road speed?
That shows you how hard it is.
It's very difficult. These teams, these drivers are trying to get every bit they can and missing it a little bit.
We have cycled through 50 of 94 complete. Taylor Malsom is the leader. Darrell Wallace Jr., Timothy Peters, Ben Kennedy, and Chris Fontaine, the top 5 at Talladega. 53 of 94 laps complete. 18th race of the year for the Camping World Truck Series. Plenty of drama early. 3 of our top 4 in the championship coming in today have had some sort of problem. Most recently, Ryan Blaney, who's led a race-high 30 laps, caught speeding on pit road. He has stayed on the lead lap. And right now, Michael, if we get a caution, he's got an opportunity to make something happen as you see the problems that have occurred today from those championship front runners.
Yeah, but the truck of Ryan Blaney is just ahead of this lead pack. There you see Blaney. He's running 3 seconds a lap slower, so it's just a matter of a lap or 2 that the lead pack, you can see that's them just off turn 2 right behind them. They're going to catch Blaney and lap him, but he can hang with that lead pack and be in the free pass position.
And all you need to do late here, be on the lead lap, and you got a chance. Hermie?
Well, Adam, both of these BKR trucks have dug themselves a hole in the first half of this race. They're talking about on the radio how the 29 and the 19 may help each other get back to the front at the end. Take a listen.
Teams just got called for speed. They got another pass through, so they might be able to hook up with us now. So just see if you can get with TJ on that. Yeah, 10-4, I got to make sure, I got to see where he's going to be when they come back around. So he's got to pit another time, you know what I'm saying? So we'll see where he comes lined up.
There it is. Ryan Blaney, championship contender, going a lap down. There's another championship contender with issues too, Adam.
And it's the second time he's had a problem today.
Ball opening 23, big opening here, line 23, all you can.
Got damage on pit road earlier.
All we got to worry.
Had to put a bunch of bear bond on his truck. He spent a number of laps outside the top 15. Saw his championship lead that came in at 17 shrink down to 7. And both he and Joe Nemechek, the yellow and purple truck running behind him, hooked up in the draft. You cannot connect and stay connected. Here you see it, and when you do, pass through penalty.
And we talk about it. NASCAR's really seldom used this here, but they're gonna bust him for doing that right there.
And you can see Crafton didn't have anything to do with it, but he was part of that tandem. He was just running wide open. Nemechek locked to him in NASCAR's opinion. That means both trucks to pit road. Terrible break for Matt Crafton.
And NASCAR made it known before this race, if you hook up, both trucks are going to be penalized.
And this is a pass through. We saw Ryan Blaney catch the pass through penalty, and now he's a lap down. He's going to have to race Matt Crafton and Joe Nemechek now for that lucky dog if these two indeed go down a lap as well.
You saw Matt Crafton's crew when they went by holding their arms up at the A truck. They're mad at Joe Nemechek right now for costing them a penalty.
Bob?
Well, the team obviously very disgruntled. The 88 team of Matt Crafton. Matt Crafton didn't think they did anything wrong. Carl Joyner told his driver, hey, I pleaded with the NASCAR officials as much as I could, but they just didn't listen to us, right?
Bob, Joe Nemechek came on the radio and said, this is definitely not right. He said, I was only bumping. I used the brakes to come on and off of his bumper. It was not a continuous push. Apparently, NASCAR saw it differently.
That's the call that NASCAR has to make. They don't want to make that call. They don't want to be put in position to make that call. They felt like it was justified that time to make the call on Nemechek, who cautions on the racetrack.
Milka Duno making her career debut in the Camping World Truck Series today. The reason for the caution. And this caution will put Ryan Blaney back on the lead lap. He's the first truck 1 lap down.
And it will keep Matt Crafton on the lead lap too. Crafton served his pass-through penalty, but he didn't run long enough without any drafting help for the leaders to catch him. That keeps Crafton on the lead lap.
As well as Nemechek.
Huge break for those drivers. So as we pointed out, Ryan Blaney will get the free pass. That will put 17 trucks back on the lead lap as we approach lap 60 of 94. This only our second caution of the day.
And oh, by the way, we'll have a whole new race here when we go back to green.
Yes, we will.
And the intensity level is going to ratchet up a couple of notches because they knew at that point in the race after that first caution it was time to log some laps. Now they know if they're going to win, they're going to have to start working for some spots to get up in the top 5 to have a chance to pull it off at the end.
But guys, let's think about it. Right now we show 36 laps to go. They obviously have to come around behind the pace car one more time. They'll be pitting with 35 laps to go, pace truck I should say. Just right in that window, maybe even pushing it. For the guy out front, he probably can't make it the rest of the way. If you can get in the back and try not to use as much throttle, maybe you can get to the end. It's going to be very close.
Another variable to consider. Where do I run? How much gas do I save? When do I make my charge to the front?
Do I want to top it off at the end when they give us 1 to go? Do I want to come in and top it off to ensure that I have enough? But I know I'm not going to have enough for green, white check, and we always get those here.
Do you honestly think we're not going to have another caution anyway? I mean, this is Talladega.
Well, we got to talk about it.
So Taylor Malsom is the race leader. Bubba Wallace, Timothy Peters, Ben Kennedy, Chris Fontaine, the top 5. And you see the trucks creeping below the double yellow line. They will make their pit stops with 35 laps to go. Hermie Sadler leads us off.
Adam, every time we come to a super speedway, Chris Fontaine finds a way to make his way to the front. He's going to pit for 4 tires and fuel. They're going to pack this truck full of fuel. Should put him right on the number to get to the end of this race. Bob?
Taylor Malsom pits. It will be fuel only for the 25-year-old, hoping for his best career finish. His prior best career finish, a 4th place run, Ray.
Right side tires for the number 54, and he's going to get out with a very quick pit stop. Looks like Timothy Peters will be first off of pit road.
Timothy Peters, Brennan Newberry jumping some 4 positions after getting 2 tires. Darrell Wallace Jr. 3rd, lost a position. Ben Kennedy and Taylor Malsom make up the top 5. We'll reset the running order and get the restart when we come back to Talladega. It's the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Fox, presented by Mobile One. And now our Mobile One race break. Tough day for some of our guys that came in thinking about a championship. First for Johnny Sauter.
Johnny Sauter, a piece of debris up off the track through his radiator, blows his engine up to the garage area, and Johnny Sauter said the championship's over.
Johnny Sauter right now scored 30th out of this race. He's 32 points behind Matt Crafton.
Ryan Blaney, that has led so much of this race, comes in for a green flag pit stop, busted for speeding in segment 1. Has to have a pass-through penalty here. Put him almost a lap, actually put him a lap down. He got the free pass to get back on the lead lap for this caution.
And then Matt Crafton, who had already gotten damage on pit road during a cycle of pit stops, had this with Joe Nemechek.
They're locked together. NASCAR says you cannot tie your trucks together and draft. You can see Nemechek just against the bumper of Crafton. They called both those trucks to pit road for a black flag, and Matt Crafton's team was not too happy. It really didn't understand the penalty.
Crafton said, "Why me?" on the radio.
They're black flagging us, Junior, because the 8 was pushing us. And I told them not to. 8 and 88, they're black flagging us. That's ridiculous. They've been doing it all day. Let me know, Junior, what you say here, what they say. They're black flagging us. I don't get it.
The emotion certainly has not calmed down here in the pit area for Matt Crafton. A lot of guys, a lot of pit stops. They're trying to make sure that they have that bear bond tight on the nose, because we saw it flying in the wind a little earlier today. Carl Joyner trying to calm his driver down. They had a vibration in that most recent run, so they changed all 4 tires for your championship leader this caution period.
And look at where those championship contenders are running as we get set for the restart. We talked about Johnny Sauter out of the race in 30th. Matt Crafton, who was in jeopardy of losing a lap before the caution came out here, will restart in the 17th position. And these numbers unofficial, and someone could come back down the pit lane here. Ryan Blaney is 13th. He got the free pass. He is back on the lead lap. And Darrell Wallace Jr., who came in 4th in the championship, 19 out right now. He's been the biggest mover of the day. 27th is where he started. He's 3rd right now.
And if you look at the guys that are racing for a championship, they've all rebounded except for Johnny Sauter. He's in the garage, obviously, but with problems and starting in the back like we saw Wallace Jr., the fact that they've all got it together now for a charge to the finish. Matt Crafton with 4 fresh tires. This could be good.
What's the latest on Chris Fontaine, Hermie?
Adam, he came down pit road in the top 5, had a really slow pit stop, a 4-tire stop, lost all his track position, so they took advantage of that, came back down pit road and topped off with fuel again last time by to maybe give them some opportunity to make it, even if they have a green and white checker. But you can see a lot of trouble on the right front here, slow getting around to the left side as well, so they lost all that track position, so they took it upon themselves to come back down pit road, packed full of fuel. They maybe can go the distance plus a green and white checker, Adam.
Timothy Peters, the race leader, Hermie, as we get set to go back green. It'll be 32 laps to go at Talladega.
How about Timothy Peters? Started back in the 26th position. 32 laps to go out front.
A little help from a Toyota right behind him that's been on the move today as well. Darrell Wallace Jr. restarting in the 3rd position. A nice push on the restart.
They've been together all day long, starting back in 26th and 27th, and now they find themselves at the front of the pack.
See everybody fighting for the inside line. They're trying to get down there next to that double yellow line. We saw Ben Kennedy pull down in front of Tyler Young. Really wasn't room there. Tyler gave him a break.
You know, early in the race, we saw that outside groove really work. You got trucks paired together, and they were able to push to the front. But lately, it's all been about the bottom.
Eric Jones also up in that lead pack as you go on board with Ryan Blaney.
Now I think we have
outside the top 10.
Sorry, Adam. You know, we have some guys in the back now that desperately want to get back towards the front. So I don't think they're going to be quite as patient as we saw during that long green flag run. That number 29 of Ryan Blaney's one of them.
And Matt Crafton up on the very high side had a big run off turn 4, lost all of his momentum, and is falling all the way to the back of this lead pack.
21 trucks right now on the lead lap.
Listen to that engine wind out.
You know, for Crafton a year ago, he did something similar to what we saw him trying to do today. Get back, lay low, let the activity happen in front of you, and then when the time is right, push the go button. He played it perfectly. I mean, he was caught up in that last lap crash, but he did net a top 10 finish.
And he was coming to the checker run in 2nd. I mean, he had a chance to be right there and win the race with his teammate Johnny Sauter, but he's falling back now. And I could just tell by his body language yesterday when I talked to him, Adam, he likes this play. He likes to fall back and watch this race unfold as the laps wind down. He was forced into that position today after starting up front and running up front by contact on pit road. But I think he's really comfortable right now. When I say that, they're going to be 2, even 3 wide ahead of him. So it's definitely risky, but I think that's the way Matt likes to approach the end of this race.
I look at our top 10, and there are some names there, Bob, that we don't always see there.
And Adam, let the fuel mileage games begin. That 32 truck right there, Taylor Malsom, his crew chief Mike Hillman told me they cannot go to the end of the race. They can't make it. They're about 2 or 3 laps short. They're going to either need a little bit of help or they're going to have to come in for a splash of fuel. Now, also in the top 10, a newcomer to the Camping World Truck Series running 9th is Daniel Suarez right there. Tomorrow he's going to be down in Mexico competing in the NASCAR Toyota Series, but a big wreck on the front stretch.
Ben Kennedy slides out of line and slams the outside wall.
Still got him coming here. Just hold on. You're okay. Brakes, 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 brakes. You okay, Ben?
We heard Ben say, yeah, I'm good.
That is great to hear, because he took a shot out of the draft, nose first into the wall, and before he could get the truck under control, the back end came and slammed it as well.
Good to hear his voice say, yeah, I'm okay.
What happened? Nemechek just came down into us?
Yeah, Nemechek got into us there. Not sure what he was doing.
Was it me or was it him?
It was him.
Kennedy's so impressive in the season opener at Daytona. Led 52 laps. After starting on the pole when qualifying had been rained out, he was quickest in practice. That's what got him the P1 starting position at Daytona in February.
That's something you rarely see, is a single truck crash here at Talladega.
Great point.
That was just a lane change on the back straightaway that caused a big pileup earlier in the race, and now the racing looking a whole lot like it did earlier, side by side, 2 peaking at 3 wide, and Ben Kennedy gets turned into the outside wall.
Yeah, the outside line had really made some ground up. John West Townley was leading both the Brad Keselowski trucks, and now they all run up in the top 5, and people were just fighting for position either in the inside line or the outside line, and that sounds like that's what may have happened to Ben Kennedy. Looked like maybe Joe Nemechek clipped him.
What about the life for Ryan Blaney? We get a pass-through penalty. We lose a lap. We're off the lead lap. Just a few laps later, things change quickly at Talladega. Up inside the top 5. That truck's been strong all day long. He's led the most laps. He's been there all day long. Could be a great day for Ryan.
What about his teammate Tyler Reddick, also in the top 5, as we look back at what happened?
Whoa, Nemechek got loose there for some reason.
Maybe he got a push from the 84. Chris Fontaine was right behind him. Maybe Chris got into the back of Nemechek, and that turned him sideways into Ben Kennedy. It didn't look like it was a situation where Nemechek was trying to get in line. Looks like he just got loose. Look again. See how he weaved down to the inside there? With Chris Fontaine, that yellow and blue truck right behind him.
Yeah, and your truck isn't going to get loose just running through the tri-oval here. These things have a lot of downforce on them. It's stuck good there. So the way that looked, it's something made Nemechek's truck turn to the inside, and unfortunately for Ben Kennedy, there he was.
Boy, it sure has to look like maybe Chris Fontaine got into the back of that 8 truck of Nemechek, and unfortunately Ben Kennedy sure paid the price.
Paid it twice.
Yeah, that second hit was hard too.
On board with Matt Crafton.
How many times has Matt Crafton seen this kind of stuff, Phil?
Yes.
He throws to the back of the pack and has to tiptoe through all kinds of different action.
The radiator knocked out of the truck.
Yeah,
wow.
Radiator and oil cooler sitting on the racetrack there out of Ben Kennedy's truck.
Now you saw the trucks come down pit road. We're not under the red flag here at Talladega. They're just doing that so the trucks can avoid the debris on the front straightaway. Look top right of your screen. That's Joe Nemechek in the yellow and purple number 8. And you'll see the contact here when we roll the tape.
Yeah, but we don't know how he got over there. That's a strange looking place for that truck to be. There was a lot of space between he and Fontaine, so if there was contact, it was well before we caught it there.
It was that second hit into the outside wall. See, it looks like the blue and yellow truck of Fontaine is right on the back tailgate of the 8 of Nemechek. I gotta believe there must have been contact to cause Nemechek's truck to do what it did.
Well, Nemechek almost wrecked himself. That truck was out of control, and he just happened to hit Ben Kennedy.
Let's hear from Ray Dunlap.
Joe Nemechek came on the radio, said, "Number 1, please tell me that Kennedy is out of his truck and he's okay." They said, "Yes, he walked away." And he said, "Put all of the blame on that one right square on my shoulders."
Must have made a move in the tri-oval that loosened that truck up. I haven't seen a truck that out of control on its own today, but that one got out of whack on him.
Credit to the safety of these machines. A hard hit at 185 miles per hour, but Ben Kennedy is okay. Oh, what a difference a week makes. This weekend, Talladega Superspeedway. It's big, it's wide, 2.66 miles. Next week, the flat half mile in Martinsville, Virginia. The Camping World Truck Series 19th race of the year. Live coverage on Fox Sports 1, Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern time.
1/5 the size of this place.
Yeah, here you have wide open spaces, and next week at Martinsville, you can't get people off of it. You're constantly in conflict and turmoil.
Your mentality changes just a little bit. Darrell Wallace trying to go back-to-back in the fall. He got the checkered flag 1 season ago. NASCAR on Fox, live in Talladega, Alabama. Today, it's the Fred's 250, powered by Coca-Cola. Our coverage on Fox, presented by Mobil 1. 25 laps to go, and this the 18th race of the year for the Camping World Truck Series.
I like how Fred throws a party. He has him a 250 at Talladega.
It's a big bash.
It's a bash.
you know, the way you've done over the years as a restrictor plate racer, you just kind of enjoy a good bash at Daytona or Talladega anytime, right?
It's just a fun experience for the drivers. I know it's frustrating at times, but when it's over, it's one of those things while you're doing it, you're nervous and you're all tense, but when it's over, you're like, man, that was cool, wasn't it? But it's usually when it's over when you get those emotions.
What's the latest on Daniel Suarez, Bob?
Well, we were about to talk about him when that big wreck came. They think they're good to go on the fuel mileage game here. So, in fact, they think they're about 3 or 4 laps to the good. Daniel Suarez making his Camping World Truck Series debut, doing a great job. In fact, his team has told him, you're an exception to the rule as a rookie here, because usually rookies are bouncing all over this racetrack.
We'll see how he does here. Restarting in the 10th position, up in front of him, Timothy Peters, John West Townley on the front row. There'll be 24 to go as we go back green.
John West Townley had a top 10 finish here last year, and he won an ARCA race at Daytona a couple years ago.
Second here in the spring in ARCA competition was John West Townley.
Timothy Peters is trying to stay on that high line and give Bubba Wallace a chance to run up there and draft with him. Pull Bubba ahead of Townley. Those two have been together all race long. Both of them racing along in Toyotas. Looks like that bond is trying to...
Whoa! Spencer Gallagher got in the back of Bubba Wallace, it looked like, turned him sideways.
Great job to hang on to it at close to 180 miles per hour for Darrell Wallace Jr.
You saw Peters when Wallace lost his momentum. Peters went to the bottom of the racetrack to cover that line down low.
Talked about Ryan Blaney, the problems he's faced today. Rides third in the draft as we go on board with Eric Jones.
There's Eric Jones in that Kyle Busch Motorsports truck. Kyle had so much success here. Bubba Wallace just ahead of Eric there, so his trucks are poised to make a run to the checkered again today.
Got that 32 of Taylor Malsom right in front of Eric Jones. What an outstanding job Taylor Malsom has done today.
Starter on the front row, career best qualifying effort for him. He's been hanging tight all day long. Led the second most laps this afternoon, 18 of them.
You know, that stuff of riding along single file, I think, is over from now to the finish, guys. These trucks that are in the back half of this lead pack, they know if they're going to win, they've got to make some ground. They've got to get up there in the top 5.
I think that caution allowed these guys to get in their window where I think everyone should be okay on fuel. You see them now moving around, their cars, trucks bouncing around, moving underneath the yellow line, back up on top of the yellow line.
And the reason why that happens, and you see Bubba Wallace there doing it perfectly, that's side drafting. He's pulling the air off of Daniel Suarez on the truck on the bottom and gaining some momentum by doing so. It's risky, though, because we've seen how much these trucks move around. When you get down next to another truck, it makes it bobble around. And if you're right on his quarter panel, it can cause a big accident.
How about Daniel Suarez? I mean, he's running this race to prepare for Daytona and the season opener next year when he'll run full-time in nationwide competition for Joe Gibbs Racing. First time ever at a track of this size and in the draft, and solidly in the top 10 when it counts as we head down the stretch.
Started up the season in the K&N Series, winning the first 2 races at New Smyrna and at Daytona Beach.
Can you imagine how wide open that young man's eyes are, everything that he's seeing right now? Even if you're a veteran, you see things you can't believe at Talladega, but this is the first time he's seen this, and it's just amazing. He and Eric Jones, there's Kyle Busch watching from Eric's pit. Both those guys experiencing Talladega for the first time, and both of them are in contention for the win.
Well, and Kyle probably keeping his eye on Suarez as well, because next year Daniel going to run a part-time schedule in the Camping World Truck Series, partnering with Kyle, likely in that 51.
You could see Eric Jones' perfect job of rolling up there and bumping Taylor Malsom, getting off of him. Had a penalty already today for Matt Crafton for getting his truck locked together with Joe Nemechek.
What's up with Eric Jones, Bob?
Eric Jones in that 51 truck, much more stable than he was earlier in the day, and they believe they're good to go on fuel. In fact, his crew chief Eric Phelps just told me they're probably good to go for one green-white checker finish, and who knows, because we always have that possibility here at Talladega. But right now, they're going to unleash Eric Jones with about 10 laps to go.
I got to tell you what, Bob, the adjustments that Eric Phelps makes on that truck for Eric Jones, we saw it at Vegas. His truck was very loose as he headed toward pit road for that last pit stop. They made an adjustment, got that truck tuned up perfectly. He was able to charge to the wind. The same thing, it sounds like, has happened today as Eric Jones now likes his truck and is ready as we reach our Camping World 20 to go to make a charge.
Typically, when we get our Camping World 20 to go, it means the afternoon is about done. You can see the end. 20 to go here today. We have absolutely no idea how this thing's going to finish.
That's what you asked me at the very top of the show, what was going to happen. I don't have any idea, but we know a lot of things were going to happen, and a lot of those things have happened so far, but we don't know what's going to happen from here on out.
I think Darrell Wallace Jr. is starting to make up some ground in that outside lane, Michael.
Yeah, and he's getting very aggressive pushes by Spencer Gallagher. And Gallagher's, he thought about going to the high side there. Gallagher seems to be really up on the chip right now, forcing the issue. So this has all the look to me of trucks bobbling around. You see all the movement there of trouble lies up ahead.
Good time to beat Timothy Peters out in front of the mess. Got John West Townley behind him in second. That's Ryan Blaney, third truck, the blue one, inside lane. And right outside of him is good friend Darrell Wallace Jr. Started 27th today, drove right into the top 5, and he's been there ever since.
What, this is Eric Jones's onboard right here. Watch this. Look at the little bit of contact with Taylor Mawson and Bubba Wallace. I don't know how these guys are going to maintain this for another 18 laps. I really don't.
They're not going to, and the lead's changing hands. John West Townley saw the progress that Bubba Wallace is making on the high side with Spencer Gallagher behind him. He decided he would fly up to the high side and see if he could grab the lead of this race.
This is so good with 18 laps to go at Talladega, and once again the inside lane pulling away as Timothy Peters has the top spot. That's Ryan Blaney right behind him. Left of your screen, you see Ben Kennedy, who brought out the caution moments ago with that hard hit on the front straightaway. Let's hear from him. Hermie?
Well, Adam, the good news is Ben Kennedy walked out of the infield care center. Ben, what happened, and are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I guess Joe Nemechek got turned into me, or turned into me. Something happened. I haven't really seen the replay yet, so I'm sure he didn't mean to do it, but we had a fast truck today. I'm watching this on TV. I wish we were out there with those guys. I wanted to win here so bad. For me, for this team, for Here.com, for everyone involved, and we got a good shot at Martinsville next weekend, and hopefully get this Rookie of the Year. It's just a bummer. I don't know. I don't really have much to say.
Disappointed, Ben Kennedy, Bob.
And here's a difficult balance for John West Townley. You see him on the outside of that second line, fading back just a little bit, but he had just been challenging for the lead. I just spoke to his crew chief, Mike Beam, and I said, how close are you on fuel? And he said, honestly, right there at the finish line, maybe running out of fuel on the last lap. I said, have you asked John West Townley to conserve fuel? He said, oh no, we're unleashing him now, letting him go for the win, and we'll just roll the dice.
How entertaining would that be? Running out of fuel, running up front, final lap at Talladega. 16 to go. Timothy Peters shows the way. Ryan Blaney is second. You're watching the Camping World Truck Series on Fox, presented by Mobile One. Under caution for the 4th time today. Debris on track. 14 laps to go. John West Townley was the race leader when the caution came out, so he will be the man in charge when we get the restart.
This sets up a couple of things. We're able to take a deep breath, which I like. I was nervous about the way they were side drafting and the two wide pack we saw. Secondarily, I think it takes fuel out of the question. Phil, these trucks are getting much better mileage under this caution, so hopefully everybody can make it to the end on their fuel, and hopefully we can all make it to the end without running into each other. But man, the bobbling, the weaving, everything we've seen with the trucks running side by side, I just don't see how they make it.
And it's going to ramp up here too. Right now, 14 laps to go. We'll probably be around 12 or so when we restart this race.
You know what we should do with 14 laps to go? Once again, look at our Ford Superspeedway facts. These some of the items you guys talked about that would be important today as far as stats go, and quite a history when it comes to Daytona and Talladega.
My favorite one is 9 last lap passes for the win. That's what we have to look forward to. But what I don't understand is how we're going to get there. I mean, what all is going to take place between now and that last lap?
The largest margin of victory we've ever had here when we finished under green was 0.4 of a second. We had it as low as 0.02 of a second back when Kyle Busch beat his then teammate Eric Almirola.
The Saturday show is good. The Sunday show going to be good tomorrow as well. An entertaining weekend here in Talladega, Alabama. Glad you're with us. There are certain days that are just more exciting than others, more anticipation when it comes to NASCAR racing. Anytime you hear we're going to Talladega, you circle it on the calendar.
Yes, and this is getting ready to ramp up tremendously. We've got a We've got a pack of hungry guys. Timothy Peters, he's had a rough summer, hadn't been able to get to victory lane. Challenging year for him. John West Townley, close lately. He's been able to see the front of the pack, and now he's there. Ryan Blaney racing for a championship along with Bubba Wallace there back in the second row. Spencer Gallagher, a young kid that's making some noise today, along with Taylor Mossam. There's so many stories inside of that top 10. And just outside of it, Daniel Suarez making his first start at Talladega. Gonna leave here and go to Mexico and race tomorrow. What a day for this kid.
The lights are out on the pace truck. There'll be 11 laps to go when we get the green flag, so let's update you on the progress of some of those drivers inside the top 5 and head back down to pit road.
Spotter Lauren Ranier guiding John West Townley. He told John West that he will be telling him where those runs are coming from and when he has to go to the upper groove to make a block. And remember, JWT pretty good in restrictor plate type racetracks. A win in ARCA at Daytona and a second place in ARCA here, Ray.
Timothy Peters, always great in restrictor plate racing. I documented earlier he's won at Daytona. Not so good here at Talladega, but he said to his spotter, Chris Lambert, help me with which line is working and who you think I can go with. Remember, Timothy Peters finished second at Daytona behind Kyle Busch. Hermie?
Well, Ryan Blaney will restart 4th. Fuel has been a concern, but crew chief Chad Kendrick just told Ryan this caution covers us for the green-white checker. He also reminded that his teammate Tyler Reddick was also back into the top 10 to keep an eye out for the 19 if he needed some help in the closing laps of this race.
We can see Ryan Blaney turning his truck off to save more fuel at times on this last lap before the restart. We're going to restart with 11 laps to go.
You know, we've seen in the past drivers leading the race take the outside and the guy in second letting him back in line. That didn't happen this time. John West Townley remained on the bottom of the racetrack. So there'll be no working together on this start between he and Timothy Peters.
I get a little nervous at this stage of these races.
I'm a little. I haven't sat down for 20 laps. This is what it's all about. This is why you come to Talladega, to put yourself in a position to win one of these great 2.66 mile races, and you get really hungry late in the going.
Green flag is back out. 11 to go. John West Townley, front row with Timothy Peters.
Great restart by Ryan Blaney, pushing that 17 of Timothy Peters. They stay dead even in 1.
Darrell Wallace Jr. inside lane right behind the race leader, John West Townley.
Look at that run Peters got through 1 and 2. Is able to push just ahead of Townley on the back.
54 is locking onto the 05.
See that bump there by Bubba Wallace. That's okay. That's legal.
Look at Matt Crafton back there. He's peeking to the high side. A lot of trucks between him and the front of this pack.
Last time around, our championship leader scored in the 19th position, but it's time to go now. When we get to the start-finish line, it will be 10 laps remaining.
What do you do if you're Crafton here, Phil? You got to believe there's going to be an accident. Do you just stay right there in that pack and risk being a part of it? Or do you fall back and try to miss the pack, the big crash?
I think he wanted to take a run up towards the front. He had Joey Coulter, the 21 truck behind him, but they couldn't gain any momentum, so he had to tuck back in line behind the 8 of Nemechek.
It's 3 p.m. in the East, and we've got 10 laps to go for the Camping World Truck Series at Talladega on Fox.
Oh, contact!
And we've got trouble. Brian Silas out of line. Collects Brennan Newberry. Silas in the grass. And now the caution, 5th one of the day.
You don't see that very often. Neither one of those trucks hit the inside wall. They got together. Newberry did a great job of just remaining calm and cool as Silas slid across his grill. Damage there to the truck of Brennan Newberry.
Saw Scott Stenzel also off the pace. 63 machine.
There's going to be even more of a sense of urgency when we restart this race now. Probably, just around 5 or 6 laps to go.
Hey, that really helped Matt Crafton because those drivers were in front of him in the running order. Bumps him up to 14th now for the restart.
Let's take a look at it.
There's probably a bump draft that went wrong.
Looked like a bump draft to the back of Brian Silas. It looked like it was by Brennan Newberry in the 20 truck. Brian does a nice job keeping that truck out of the inside wall. I'm not sure Newberry was quite as fortunate. He didn't hit the inside wall, but he does have some damage to that truck. There it is right there. Silas made some pretty significant contact with Clay Greenfield on his outside. Clay did a nice job maintaining control of his truck.
The view of our championship leader, Matt Crafton.
Wow.
Matt says, thank you for going to the inside after you got together.
And I said I was nervous before that last restart. What's he thinking? 9 laps to go here at Talladega. Under caution for the 5th time today here at Talladega. 17 lead changes among 10 different drivers. And when they come back across the start-finish line, under caution here, it will be 7 laps to go.
And this is why the decision to go to the back is so difficult for me to understand. Matt Crafton is in maybe the worst place he's been all day long. I mean, he's back outside the top 10. They're going to be pushing and shoving. He's going to be right in the eye of the storm. He's survived before. Can he do it again? I mean, he's got that point lead. 17 markers coming in. Leaving here with that point lead. That's a huge amount of points for a young man like Matt Crafton. He knows how to be conservative. He knows how to race for championships. A big 7 laps for Matt Crafton.
You talk about him leading the championship. Now we get our Mobil 1 race break, which focuses on those coming in thinking about the title. You got Johnny Sauter, who was 17 out coming into today, engine problems.
Loses an engine. What a catastrophic failure for Johnny Sauter. May take him out of contention here. That's the bolt that went through the radiator. That's what caused the engine failure.
Johnny is now 36 out in 4th. Ryan Blaney leading this race. In fact, he still had more laps than anyone else, but he too had a problem.
Yeah, he came to pit road. He's the first guy there, and he just got in too hot. He couldn't get slowed down to pit road speed in that first section. Went a lap down. Fortunately, caught a caution flag and got that lap back. You saw Matt Crafton there sliding through the pits. He made contact on pit road.
He pulls out of his pit right into Brian Siles, the 99. Then he gets penalized. A pretty rare penalty here in NASCAR for pushing. Both the truck being pushed and the pusher both get brought to pit road, a pass-through penalty under green.
And the one driver that really has had not much drama, the one who started back in the 27th position, Darrell Wallace Jr., he's 4th right now, and he's got a chance to make some gains today.
His trouble was overnight. He had to worry about that career worst starting position and what all lied ahead of him between that 26th starting spot and the lead of this pack. But he's gotten there. He's been up front all day long. He's got a strong truck. Kyle Busch Motorsports has had a lot of success in 2014, winning 10 times. Can Bubba or Eric Jones making a number 11 for Kyle today?
Ryan Blaney caught speeding on pit road, went a lap down. Got the free pass. He will restart 3rd behind Timothy Peters and John West Townley. They're on the front row. Green flag with 6 laps remaining at Talladega.
Timothy Peters.
Daniel
Problem
Suarez.
for Daniel Suarez. May have missed a gear on the restart. Timothy Peters with a great jump and a push from Ryan Blaney.
And did you see Matt Crafton hop out of line?
That was a big restart for Crafton. The problems on the inside line allowed him to make a move, gain several spots.
On board with Crafton here. In that outside lane, John West Townley, who restarted 2nd, but he is drifting back and going to lose more positions. In fact, they're driving around him or trying to. That's Spencer Gallagher to the outside.
Yeah, they're going to split John West Townley. He's going to find himself way back. Has to be very patient and not try to get in a hole that's not there.
It's actually Gallagher going to the inside. Tyler Reddick, who started on the pole, jumping to the outside of John West Townley. Now he settles in line.
Now you've got a decision to make. When do you pop out of line? When do you jump up to that high side?
Watch this push from the 84 of Chris Fontaine for Matt Crafton. Look at it propel that truck.
And you could see the momentum on the inside lost.
You could hear the RPMs rev up when he got pushed from the back, and the problems from Suarez hurt that inside line.
That was close, though. You're not allowed to pass before the start-finish line. Worked out fine for him, and of course he was trying to avoid a problem, but that could have been a dangerous situation for Crafton.
On the outside, that's Daniel Suarez. Obviously must have missed a gear, pulled over to the inside, got out of the way. Good heads-up move. Now he's back in here trying to go towards the front.
And John West Townley, a rough start like we talked about. He went to the back of the pack, but now he's got some momentum. He needs to try to fall in behind Spencer Gallagher and push Gallagher to the front. He's being a little bit impatient. I don't think going up there is going to work. Nor does Tyler Reddick.
They come through the tri-oval and back to the start-finish line. 4 laps to go for race leader Timothy Peters, who has not won in 2014. Let's hear from the man who just restarted second and has fallen off the map, Bob.
John West Townley has remained patient and very quiet on the radio, but his spotter, Lauren Rainier, talking a mile a minute. They fell out of line, got shuffled back, but he is trying to get his driver, John West Townley, back to the front of the field, Hermie.
And now we're under caution once again, Bob, and it's for the 6 truck of Norm Benning, who spun coming off the corner, had just gotten the free pass to return to the lead lap.
Yeah, Norm was 2 laps down, got a couple of free passes, back on the lead lap, looking for his career best finish today. Felt confident that he could do just that, but that spin off turn 2 over there hurts his progress, obviously.
He stays on the lead lap. Right rear tire is flat, looks like. Look right side of your screen. I think he may have cut down that right rear tire, and that may be what turned him around. Does a nice job continuing to work with that thing and get it going straight again.
How many times have we seen a driver have trouble today on track but not hit anything and not collect anyone else? That's incredible here.
It is. We watched Ben Kennedy right out of the middle of the pack on the front straightaway. That was amazing. What happened over on the back with Brennan Newberry? Those trucks sliding through the infield and not collecting others. Usually a wreck here at Talladega involves multiple trucks like we saw back early in the race, but so far so good.
We've had 2 green-white checker finishes here at Talladega. They came in 2009 and 2010. And the last time around, we saw 3 laps to go. So we may very well get our 3rd green-white checker finish here at the Superspeedway in Alabama, NASCAR's fastest track.
You know, we talk about how Daytona and Talladega, you kind of say them in the same breath now. 5 of the 6 winners at Talladega have also won at Daytona in the Truck Series. Right now, Timothy Peters has won in the Truck Series at Daytona, and he has our lead.
What's going on with that 29 truck, Hermie?
Well, Adam, we've talked all day about how important spotters are to going to victory lane at Talladega. Joey Meyer guiding Ryan Blaney. Now, they're not really as concerned about what's going on ahead of Ryan Blaney. They started having conversations about what may happen behind the 29. They said the 51 and the 54, Eric Jones and Bubba Wallace were planning at 2 to go to make a second line on the outside. Then Ryan Blaney will have to make a decision after that, Bob. Ray?
I was listening to Timothy Peters' radio. The Red Horse guys are trying to formulate some kind of a plan, and they said keep an eye on that 32 back there. We are in conversation with him and his spotter. We're going to try to get you 2 locked up together. Now, this truck that Taylor Malsom is driving today was run in Daytona by Ryan Truex, and Ryan finished 4th in Daytona, so they know it's a good piece, and those 2 are going to try to hook up, maybe do a little bump drafting as they go down the back straightaway.
Look there at Taylor Malsom, started on the front row, led those 18 laps earlier today. Ryan Blaney has still led the most laps in this race, but Timothy Peters, who is out front now, only 2 behind, and if he can finish this thing off, he would probably win in the most laps led category this afternoon.
We are going overtime. This is going to be our first attempt at a green-white checker as we see Daniel Suarez come off of pit road. Norm Benning also off of pit road.
Yeah, and on pit road was John West Townley. A couple of trucks right up in the top 5 before that last restart. Now on pit road here late in the going. Any chances of them winning have gone out the window, and it looked like Suarez or Townley could grab their first win here today earlier.
So we're going overtime at Talladega. And in a green-white checker, you get a green flag lap. And as long as the caution doesn't come out before the leader takes the white, the next flag would end it, whether it be the caution or the checker, as we send it down to Bob.
Mike Hillman Jr. is crew chief for Taylor Malsom. You told me earlier you might be close on fuel. Are you good to go now? What are you telling your driver?
All these cautions have made us really good to go. Our underwall Chevy is really good. I'm just really proud of everybody at Turner Scott Motorsports for how hard they've worked. You know, Speedway trucks are built at the shop, and these races are won at home. And he's got a green-white checkered, and we'll see how it shakes out here. You know, we could win this thing or end up 15th. We'll just see how it works out.
Certainly a crapshoot for Taylor Malsom, right?
Look at that gap between Taylor Malsom and the 54 of Bubba Wallace. That's probably how it's going to look once we go back to green, because Bubba wants to leave a nice open spot there and allow the number 51 of Eric Jones to drop down in. They believe their best shot at winning is to have the KBM trucks lined up in a row. Right now, they're in 2 different lines.
Saw the 17 of Timothy Peters down on the apron of the racetrack. Hopefully that thing wasn't coughing a little bit for a little bit of fuel there. If this thing runs out of fuel here and we restart this race in front of this pack, that could be bad.
Could just be precautionary, just making sure he's on the flat to keep the fuel in that pickup so that he doesn't have that issue. Let's hope that's the case. And that's interesting what the Kyle Busch Motorsports trucks are going to do. They're going to work together here.
First attempt.
Somebody's out of gas. Somebody's out of gas.
Clay Greenfield out of fuel as we come to the green flag for our first attempt at a green-white checker. And look at Ryan Blaney getting a shove from Eric Jones in that outside lane, trying to grab the race lead as they go off of turn 2.
Dead even right now as they exit turn 2. How about Jeb Burton jumping in the outside? He has a little bit of help up there.
That's Joey Coulter behind him. Also getting a push from Spencer Gallagher, the third truck in line in that outside lane, and now they blend back in.
Burton makes a great move, picks up a couple of spots. Now he's a player.
Timothy Peters hugging that preferred inside line, but a shove now coming from the outside. Ryan Blaney with help from Eric Jones as they come through the tri-oval. White flag will go in the air this time.
No manufacturer help there. We've got a Toyota leading, a Chevrolet pushing him, a Ford running second, and a Toyota pushing him.
Timothy Peters led that lap by 2/100ths of a second.
What can Jones do? Can he get the move? Can he get a hold to the back of the 29 truck of Blaney and push him ahead? Or what's Jeff Burton going to do to the outside?
He's got some help from Tyler Young in the 02 truck.
Look at Taylor Molson and the shove he's giving Timothy Peters down low, who is now pulled away a bit. That middle lane drifting back. Here comes Jeff Burton outside.
4 wide.
That's Spencer Gallagher leading that wide group.
Matt Crafton, our championship leader, has worked his way back into the top 5. And a move being made in that outside lane. Peters pulls high to block. Now look down low. Fontaine is there. Timothy Peters stretching away. Can he hold him off?
Two back in your mirror.
Yes, he can. Timothy Peters gets the checkers here at Talladega.
Run over. Great job.
What an amazing finish here at Talladega, like we always see.
Timothy Peters has now got a victory in 6 consecutive seasons.
Marcus Richmond said, Talladega, baby.
Oh, my God.
That is synchronized driving. Everybody wanted to win that race, fighting hard to do so. I can't believe they didn't crash.
How about Spencer Gallagher running up to 3rd at the end? Tyler Reddick, our pole sitter, finishes 4th.
Marcus Richmond, all kinds of fired up, and for good reason, Ray.
Yeah, how about it? There's been a lot of times throughout the course of this season where it didn't look good, but guess what? You guys are back in victory lane. How'd you do it?
Man, we really needed this. This Red Horse Tundra has been really good. It was good at Daytona. We've had our ups and downs this year. We felt like we've had fast trucks. This whole team has been awesome. We stuck together, and Tom DeLoach hadn't give up on us. Me and Timothy hadn't give up on each other. This is awesome, Ray.
What a finish, what a finish. Timothy Peters back in victory lane on a super speedway.
Had that top 5 finish a couple of weeks ago in Las Vegas. Back it up with a win here today. Hard for me to believe his best run before this in 2014, that runner-up at Daytona. That heartbreak is gone. Timothy Peters, congratulations. You're a winner at the big track in Alabama.
54, 1 back. Lock the bottom. You're coming to the checker here. So 2 back in your mirror. 2 back in your mirror. 1 lane up. 1 lane up. Checker flag right here. Don't get run over. Do not get run over. Great job.
How good's that feel? Look out your rearview mirror.
And
see all that?
And under those circumstances, how do you remain that calm?
He's a professional.
And you can't beat the emotion of a checkered flag at a special place like Talladega Superspeedway. Timothy Peters has got it, Ray.
And he's getting ready to climb out of his Red Horse Tundra, the number 17, back in victory lane on a super speedway. And keep in mind, folks, this team started 26th today, worked their way to the front, and obviously a great truck, but boy, I'll tell you what, Timothy, it doesn't get much more exciting than those final laps here. How did it look from your vantage point?
Exciting. You know, I can't thank everybody on this team enough. Marcus came aboard and built us a strong truck, and we showcased that at Daytona, and we lost it by oh so much. So it feels good to come back to a super speedway and improve our position by 1 point and get into victory lane. But the way our kind of summer stretch went, I didn't know what was going to happen. Races were running out to try to get in victory lane. So it goes back to the Fab Shop. All the guys are Red Horse Racing. These guys back here on the 17 team, 77 team, oh my goodness, all our partners, Toyota. I can't thank those guys enough.
Let's look at this last lap here.
Man, I'm out of breath even watching it. It's just crazy. I got to thank Darrell Wallace for working with me all day. And that last, the restart before last, we got shuffled back and couldn't get to each other, but we worked good all day today. And I know Steve Burns is watching. He, my guardian angel today, he was riding along with me. So, Steve, we wish you well. Sarah and Brantley, can't believe it. I'll see you here shortly. All our guys that are associated with us, Russo's, Goodridge, Toyota, Liquid Performance, Autos by Nelson. Man, if I forget you, I'm sorry, but thank you for being a part of this team. This is such a great effort.
They went from 7th to 5th in the points. That's not such a big deal. It's being back in victory lane. The celebration is on for Red Horse Racing. Now let's go to Bob Dillner.
Taylor Malsom was just sitting here watching our monitor, watching that last lap. Are you wondering if you should have done something a little different?
No, I was committed to 17. You know, before that was a 29, and so I just was going to push him as far as I could and hope to get a good run on the front stretch. And we ended up where we started, so it wasn't a bad day. I'm really happy with Outer Wall guys. They got an awesome promotion going with Facebook for Redbox to win a trip to Vegas to ride with me, and should be really exciting. And looking forward to Texas. We've got some good momentum going.
Best career finish for Taylor Malsom. Hermie?
Well, Ryan Blaney, the good news is you move up to second in points, lead in most laps, but you come home fifth. I know you wanted a shot at the win. What happened those last couple laps after the final restart?
Yeah, you know, I thought we were going to have a great shot at the win. Coming off of 2 with Eric Jones pushing me there, and I was planning on making my move with him, just trying to side draft Timothy the right amount, the right spot. And I knew the third lane was going to come eventually. I didn't think they were going to go that early. And right when they got outside of the 51, it sucked him right off of me and stopped us. And if I would have pulled up there, we would have got wrecked. They were coming so fast. And luckily, they all got jumbled up 4 wide off of 4, and we were able to, I think, go from maybe 11th up to 5th within 1,000 yards. But that was a lot of fun. We had a great truck, and I made a mistake early speeding on pit road, and we got right back up there fast. Tyler Redditt did a great job pushing me back up there. He timed it just right. So not a bad day for us, you know, move up in the points. And this is a long 5-race stretch to Homestead here. And I told our guys, you know, if we have weeks like this, I think we'll be right there at Homestead.
Ryan Blaney up to second, only 17 points behind Matt Crafton.
Thank you, Hermie. And you heard Timothy Peters talk about Steve Burns. The guys from Red Horse Racing put Steve's name over the door. That's really cool. And Steve, we're thinking about you as well. A neat day for not only Timothy Peters, but Steve here at Talladega Superspeedway.
How fitting is it that Steve Burns is in Talladega's victory lane with Timothy Peters? He's a winner, and I know he's going to win this fight too.
So down now to 4 races remaining in 2014. And the drama, it kicked up a notch today here at Talladega.
We go to Martinsville. We talk about that. You get bumped, you get turned around. You know, these trucks were bumping here. They're going to be bumping every single lap at Martinsville. You get a flat tire, you get turned around, you could lose 20 points.
And what about our man, Ryan Blaney? He let Matt Crafton know we can be there in Miami. We feel like we're coming. We got the momentum. The championship battle's heating up.
I'm thinking about Timothy Peters, top 5 at Las Vegas, win today. And, oh, yeah, he's pretty good at that little short track in Virginia, too.
Home track for him.
What a day it was here at Talladega. Thank you so much for being with us on Fox. Bob Dillner, Ray Dunlap, Hermie Sadler. Unbelievable job on pit road. Chris Devotis got it started with a setup. With Michael Waltrip and Phil Parsons, I'm Adam Alexander. Congratulations to Timothy Peters. He's a winner at Talladega.